You know that feeling, right? That little pit in your stomach when you see a meeting on your calendar that you just know is going to be a mess. The kind where the conversation just spins in circles, one person talks the whole time, and you all leave feeling like you wasted an hour of your life. Well, what if you could be the one to change that? Today, we are going to talk about the art of modern moderation and how you can turn that chaos into calm, confident control. So here's our game plan. First, we'll look at the moderator's dilemma. Then, we'll get into your tactical toolkit, the stuff you can actually do. From there, we'll dive into the psychology of influence, talk about how to foster a bit of group genius, and finally, how to make this a skill you keep improving. All right, let's get into it. So let's be real. Why is running a good meeting so darn hard? A lot of the time, it really just comes down to the people in the room. You've got all these different personalities, different agendas, and sometimes they clash. Big time. Just understanding who you're dealing with is honestly half the battle. And I bet you recognize this cast of characters, don't you? First, you have the dominant participant, the one who just sucks all the air out of the room. Then there's the silent participant. You know they have amazing ideas, but they just won't say them. Of course, we have the negative participant, who sees a problem for every single solution. And last but not least, the off-topic contributor, who is constantly pulling the conversation down some random rabbit hole. Each one needs a totally different approach. Okay, so that's the problem. But the good news, you are not powerless here. Not at all. There is a whole toolkit of actual, practical things you can do to guide the conversation, manage these behaviors, and keep the whole train on the tracks. These are the things you can directly control. Let's kick things off with one of my absolute favorites, the reframe. So your negative participant chimes in with, "This will never work." Instead of arguing, a great moderator just pivots. You say something like, "That's a really good point to raise. So with that in mind, how could we make this work?" See what that does? It totally shifts the energy from a dead end to a creative challenge. It's beautiful. Now, for our friend, the off-topic contributor, the parking lot is about to become your best friend. Seriously. So instead of just cutting them off, you validate them. You say, "You know what, that's a great idea, but it's a little off topic for right now. Let's stick it in the parking lot here so we don't lose it and we can circle back to it later." It's all about respecting the person while protecting the meeting's focus. And what about our silent participants, the ones who are way too quiet? You can't just call them out and put them on the spot. That would be awful. The trick is to create safe ways for them to contribute. Maybe a quick quiet word during a break. Or even better, you can ask a question that plays directly to their skills. Something like, "Hey Sarah, I know you've done a ton of work in this area. What are your thoughts on this?" You're inviting them in, not calling them out. All right, so we've got our tactical toolkit. But this is where things get really, really interesting. Because some of this isn't about tactics at all. It's about psychology. If you want to be a truly fantastic moderator, you have to get a handle on the deeper human stuff that's going on, the things you can't just fix with a clever phrase. Now check this out. This framework here, observe, ask, intervene, was actually designed for an AI to use to moderate meetings. How wild's that? But the lesson for us humans is huge. Before you just jump in and try to fix something, you need to first just observe what's happening, maybe ask a question to understand better, and then you intervene. It's about diagnosing before you prescribe. And here's why that's so important. There's this huge psychological barrier called cognitive dissonance. It's that uncomfortable feeling we get when our actions don't match our beliefs. Think about it. Our brains hate that feeling. So to make it go away, we just invent a story to make it all make sense. And in meetings, this means people are experts at rationalizing their own disruptive behavior, even when you show them cold, hard facts. And let me show you a perfect example from that AI study. The AI co-host sent this chart privately to someone who was totally dominating the conversation. I mean, look at that. It couldn't be clearer, right? It's literally data saying, "Hey, you are talking way more than everybody else." You'd think that would be a game changer. But it wasn't. The study found that the people who got this direct, private, data-driven feedback pretty much just ignored it. Their brains went right into cognitive dissonance. They probably told themselves, "Well, yeah, I'm talking a lot, but what I'm saying is important," or "I'm just trying to keep the energy up." The feedback just bounced right off. And this gets to a really crucial point. Just showing someone the facts isn't enough to change their behavior. Logic isn't enough. That AI failed because it was missing the one thing that actually works: social pressure. Without the feeling that your peers are watching, it is just way too easy for our brains to make up a story and dismiss the feedback. So if we can't just correct people one-on-one, what do we do? Well, this leads us to the most powerful moderation tool there is. You stop trying to be the police, and instead, you empower the entire group to manage itself. This, right here, is where the real magic happens. A truly skilled moderator creates a culture where everybody in that room feels responsible for the meeting's success. You're encouraging people to gently keep each other on track. When the group itself takes ownership of the outcome, that subtle social pressure does all the heavy lifting for you. And that brings us to our final and maybe most important idea. Being a great moderator isn't about giving a perfect performance every single time. That's way too much pressure. It's a leadership skill. And just like any other skill, it's a practice. You get better with reflection, with feedback, and by trying new things. So how do you actually practice? It's simple. You have to ask. After a meeting, just pull someone you trust aside and say, hey, how did that feel? Did you feel like you had enough room to talk? Take what they say, think about what worked and what didn't, and tweak your approach for the next time. Every single meeting is a new chance to learn something. So as we wrap this up, I want to leave you with this one question. Don't try to become a perfect moderator overnight. Just think about the very next meeting you have to lead. What is the one thing, one small change, or one technique from today that you can try to make that conversation just a little bit better?